suggest you like get out of the way a little bit.
Which side?
Either, just like if we curl up, you know,
Okay.
like there's twice.
Yeah, I'm
and I
trying
kinda
my best to
lost
stay
the
out of my way.
Yeah,
You guys are fast and I'm slow.
Yeah.
I know, like how are you supposed to get out of the way of a professional player? I don't know. That's why he's not a pro.
This is Sportscentre.
Hey, I'm Marissa Roberto. It's a light night in the NHL. With only 4 games on, but 3 have pretty massive playoff implications, with a big matchup being the Avs taking on the Canucks. But we also have the Jets and Preds and the Oilers host the Caps. But let's focus on that Canucks game, because heading into tonight, only 4 points separate the two teams for that cherished 1 seed in the West. Winnipeg is also in the mix for that spot along with Dallas. And the Jets have a great shot thanks to 2 games in hand on the Canucks and Avs. And it may not seem like it, but the Oilers are also in that conversation. Sure, they may be 10 points behind Vancouver, but they also have 3 games in hand. And when it comes to remaining strength of schedule for the 5 contenders, only Dallas has an easier finish to the season than Edmonton. However, we're going to go back to those games in hand, because Edmonton has 4 on Dallas. Back to tonight's game though. Both Colorado and Vancouver are riding 4-game winning streaks. And the Avs have been flexing their goal-scoring muscles as of late. Over the last 7 games, Colorado has scored 5 or more goals 5 times, including a 6-2 win in Calgary last night. And as per usual, their best players are on fire. Nathan MacKinnon set a new career high for points against the Flames and is up to 113 on the season. And I hope you listened to us yesterday because we did tell you to bet on him to score a goal, which he did. MacKinnon also has points in 13 straight games, while his line mate Mikko Rantanen is on a 10-game heater and can easily hit the 100-point mark this year. Getting Val Nichushkin back in the lineup has also been huge. The 29-year-old is averaging over a point per game for the first time in his career. And since returning from the player assistance program, he's got 2 goals and 4 points in 2 contests. On the Vancouver side, life without Thatcher Demko could be tough. The Vezina candidate is out 2 to 4 weeks, which could mean the Canucks are without him until the start of the playoffs. That sets the stage for Casey DeSmith to be the guy, which could be a little worrisome for some fans. DeSmith has a sub-900 save percentage and has saved negative 1.5 goals above expected, compared to Demko's 20.4, which is second in the league. As per Money Puck, who do I think is the best in the West? Well, I was a Vancouver girly for just a little part of my life, and you know, I really love Quinn Hughes, so we're going Vancouver. Let's go Canucks. To the NFL, we had a ton of movement over the last 2 days, but one name has been suspiciously quiet, and that's Justin Fields. As both Pittsburgh and Atlanta look like possible destinations, but those spots have been filled by Russell Wilson and Kirk Cousins. The main thing working against Fields getting traded is probably contract. He's only due $6 million this year, but if you trade for him, you likely need to commit to his 5th-year option, which is just over $25 million, or give him a new contract. The other thing working against him is that the league still doesn't know what he really is, and what the trade market for him could be. He's an 11-29 in his career, and has thrown for 300 yards just once in his 3 years. Either way, the longer the status quo goes, the more complicated this gets, and the worse the return likely gets for Chicago. And the longer this goes, this also contradicts what Bears GM Ryan Poles says just a couple weeks back. Quote, "If we go down that road, I want to do right by Justin as well. No one wants to live in the gray. I know that's uncomfortable. I wouldn't want to be in that situation either." Only since then, the gray is exactly where this thing's been sitting. So at this point, should the Bears just hang on to Fields and roll with him and whoever they draft first overall? ESPN's Louis Riddick said no chance.
You're trying to build something in Chicago, both in terms of culture and in terms of improved play on the football field. They're just going to have to eat this one. They're going to have to take what they can get and move on, and then set the table for Caleb if that's who they're going to draft, and let Justin just get to a spot where he can learn from a veteran. He's going to have to take a back seat, and maybe his time will come down the road. That's the way this is going to play out. This is not going to be fantasy football where some teams just going to be so desperate and give you what you want. That's not what it is.
Wow, time now for my favorite segment and yours, Why We Love Sports Today.
Why we love sports today.
And this is absolutely unreal. The fact that we're now using wheelbarrows on these ramps is wild, and I need to watch again. Excuse me? Oh! He catches it! Oh my, the double flip. Guys, how, again, I don't know. I just don't know who invents this stuff, but that was actually pretty cool. Now joined by our gambling guy, Wes Chang. Great to see you, Wes.
Great to see you, Marissa.
It's a battle of futilities tonight as the Raps take on the Pistons. And this is one of those rarities where the Pistons are actually favorites. The Raps are massive dogs against the Nuggets and should have won that game outright. How are you approaching tonight against Detroit?
With all the injury uncertainty the Raptors have on a nightly basis, and with the team focused on developmental mode, it's really hard to find anything consistently to back when it comes to betting. The one thing that has held true, the Raptors have been terrible at rebounding since both Jakob Poeltl and Scotty Barnes have been out of the lineup. they've had the 3rd worst rebounding rate in the NBA since that period. If you look at the game log of some of these past centers that they've gone up against, all of them have had double-digit rebounding performances. Credit to Kelly Olynyk, amazing backup center, but just not the same presence when it comes to rebounding like Jakob Poeltl.
Okay, Wes, give us your best bet.
I like Cade Cunningham to go over his points, rebounds, and assists combo. He has been excellent since the All-Star break. He scored 20-plus points in 9 out of those 10 games. He's had 3 double-doubles. His shooting splits are much improved post versus pre-All-Star break. I mentioned the Raptors' rebounding woes. I think there's room here for Cade to get a few more boards than he usually would. But then, you might have heard me say this before, the Raptors are terrible at defending dynamic point guards. I think that continues to hold true tonight against Cade.
Wes Chang, a pleasure as always.
Thanks, Marissa.
And you can watch the Raptors and Pistons tonight on TSN. Coverage begins at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. That's all for today. We'll see you tomorrow, 3 Eastern. No Pacific! Have a good one.